everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm now preparing Sync, my motorbike, as well as my stuff, because we're getting ready to go to another adventure. And this time we're traveling to Batangas for 2 days and 1 night. And we'll be staying at the Heritage Town of Taal. Now, we'll definitely talk about the town of Taal tomorrow when we visit it. But I'll be focusing on 2 very specific places there. And these are 2 churches. The first church is the Basilica of Taal, which is formerly known as the Minor Basilica of St. Martin of Tours. Now, this basilica is quite special because not only is it the largest church in the Philippines, but it's also the largest church in Asia. And the second church is the Shrine of Our Lady of CASAS, which is formerly known as the Archdiocesan Shrine of Our Lady of CASAS. The other thing I wanted to mention about these 2 churches is that they are Jubilee churches. And for practicing Filipino Catholics, this is quite important because this year marks 500 years of Christianity in the country. Now, I'll be staying in a hotel called Paradores del Castillo. It's a really nice hotel. I stayed there once before. But the thing that I like about it is that the owners of that hotel also operate an agency that offers local tours around the town of Taal. Before we go on our journey, there are just a couple of things that I'd like to point out in our motorcycle here. The first is that my crash bars have finally arrived. Actually, they arrived while I was in Bataan. And so right after my trip to Bataan, I had them installed. So they're now here together with a skid plate. The second point is I want to make a shout out to Mr. Sherwin De Tyson, because Mr. Sherwin De Tyson was very kind to actually give me my own decal or my own sticker. Special thanks to Sherwin for supporting me by making these stickers. There's nothing really much to feature in this ride to Taal Heritage Town because it's really just expressways and provincial roads all the way. In particular, we're gonna take South Luzon Expressway, connect to Taal Expressway, all the way to Lipa exit, and then take a couple of provincial roads all the way. So we're now on Taal Expressway, and this is the toll road that will lead us all the way to Batangas City. But we're not gonna reach Batangas City. We're gonna turn right and exit at Lipa. We'll then take provincial roads that will lead all the way to the Heritage Town of Taal. I believe that's Mount Mokulot in front of us. Mount Mokulot is right beside Taal Lake, so which means to say beyond that mountain is Taal Lake and Taal Volcano. But we're not going through it again. We're just gonna pass through it, pass by it. We're gonna swing left before hitting Mount Mokulot, and which means that we'll be proceeding further to the southwestern part of Taal Lake to reach Taal Heritage Town. You see, the road swings left. Well, everyone, we're getting close to Taal Heritage Town. And what I like about this town is that they were able to maintain the structure of a lot of old houses here. It has a lot of strong Spanish influence as well. There it is. Taal Poblacion, Taal Heritage Town. Oh, here's the Basilica. See, as I said, you can see the ocean from here. So they actually moved this town from the banks of Taal Lake much closer to the West Philippine Sea. I think the name of the bay is Balayan Bay. This is Rizal College of Taal, also styled as an old building. So they moved the entire town away from the banks of Taal Lake when after the large eruption of Taal in 1754. So we're turning now to the street where our hotel is found, Paradores del Castillo. To the right is the house of the Villa Vicencios. It's also a historical place. And here's the hotel, Paradores del Castillo. So we've arrived at my hotel, Paradores del Castillo. I stayed here last month and I really enjoyed my stay. During this entire video, I'll be taking extra precautions because of the COVID-19 situation here in the Philippines, but I'll try my best to still make this a good video. Here's the entrance. As you can see, it's a really old house. I'll probably feature it later on after a trip. Hi, good morning. Great to be back.
Welcome back, sir.
Hi, JERSA.
JERSA was our tour guide when my wife and I first visited Taal last month. We were impressed by her knowledge of the town's history and her passion with its links to the Philippines' independence. And so I asked her to guide me once again throughout this journey back in time.
Hello everyone, I'm JERSA. I'm the tour guide here in Taal and CASAS de Taal Tours. Hi Sir Joel, thank you for having me in your vlog. So this is Taal Basilica. So Taal Basilica is actually built in 1755. But then the first Taal town was discovered in 1572, located at the banks of the Taal Lake. So the location now is the municipality of San Nicolas. So actually there's still the ruins of the old church there. We can see if you will visit there po. So this church was built in 1755 by Augustinian missionaries here in Taal, and it was built by an adobe and a mixture of a sand and egg white. So as you can see, this is made of adobe stone. So this is a pure adobe stone and mixture of egg whites and sand. So they use the egg whites as an adhesive mixture to the sand or as a cement. So before we don't have cement pa po. So they use egg whites and sand. So this church is the Asia's largest basilica. So in December 8, 1854 is the first year that Our Lady of Kaysasay was crowned as the Queen of the Archdiocese of Lipa, and the same year, Basilica, Taal Basilica, they said that it was the Minor Basilica that year. So we can see inside po.
From the front of the basilica, I noticed a wedding car, and so I remembered the joke that if you're uncertain with your decision to get married, this is the best place to hold your wedding, because the aisle is long enough to change your mind. But then I was fortunate enough to enter as the bride started her wedding march, and what I witnessed was the exact opposite, because she was beaming with joy as she elegantly walked down the aisle of the magnificent church. I was also very fortunate that I was able to interview the Parish Priest of the Basilica. Reverend Father Manuel Guarzon. He spoke to me about the patron saint of Taal Basilica and the basilica's links with Our Lady of CASAS.
Kahit nung una pa na I think the Augustinian missionaries established the parish and built up the church. From the very beginning, they named Saint Martin of Tours as the patron saint of the parish, of the church. When you talk about the basilica, does not simply concern the Taaleños. Kasi if you come here any day of the week, you'll see pilgrims flocking to the basilica to pray. So it's very popular among people. But in terms of devotion, una-una ang object of devotion ng mga tao, especially Taaleños, ay hindi San Martin, kundi kay Sasay. Kasi the basilica and the shrine can be considered sister churches na because of CASAS, Our Lady of CASAS. Second pa lang, si San Martin of Tours.
Okay.
So much so na pwede natin yan sabihin, kung minsan may mga tao na they will always identify the basilica with Our Lady of CASAS, not with San Martin of Tours. Kaya naman, ngayon, kasi bago ako rito, I was just assigned here last year. Sabi ko, why don't we start a perpetual novena to San Martin to popularize and promote the devotion to San Martin. Lalo na ngayon, Lenten season, when we say prayer, fasting, and good works. The best example that we have for good works is San Martin. Kasi we have, I don't know if you know, we have two images of San Martin. We have San Martin Guerrero and San Martin Obispo. Okay? Ngayon, yung San Martin Guerrero, siya yung Roman soldier na hinati niya yung kanyang cake to share it with the poor man shivering in the cold. Yun ang San Martin Guerrero. So makikita mo ang example ng charitable work sa kanya.